Hey Christine, how's it going?
Hey Jack, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. It's great to see you. Obviously we've
Yes,
had some awesome stuff. So I just want to get your
yes,
experience and kind of what that
yeah,
was like, what you were struggling with, kind of what we were able to do, and also where
yeah,
Wade is now going, and kind of
absolutely.
all that good stuff. So let's start here. Before you came to us, what were you struggling with in the recruiting process? What was hard about that?
So I don't even know if we realized we were struggling. We were going into the summer before Wade's senior year, and we just thought, hey, this is the summer, right? We're going to get offers, right? He's on a showcase team. We're doing these showcases. We've got recruits coming out, and we go to these showcases, and these are the standard where, he's at his position. You get six, seven balls, you get to throw. You run the 60, it's timed, and you get 10 or 12 at bats, right? And my son, and I love him, he doesn't pass the eyeball test, right? He's not 6'2, 6'4, 180. He's a heck of an athlete, but you have to see him play. And so we thought, okay, these showcases aren't really working and they're costing money each time. There's a pop every single time. And then we go to these events, we're having these tournaments and we got these scouts and we can see them there. And then come to find out the portal has changed a lot of things, right? And so they were really looking for the immediate gap starting that fall, that next spring, not looking for, hey, we'll see you in a year, we'll talk. And that was a surprise. We weren't expecting that. And so we were already behind the ball. So we really didn't even have a struggle. We had nothing going on, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, are we going to actually wait until the next summer? I don't think so. We're gonna have to start doing something. And then we kind of went from there.
Awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of parents will be able to relate with that. It's almost like you don't
Yes,
even know what you're struggling with because there's nothing really to struggle through yet. Like you just haven't reached
correct.
that point. That
Correct.
makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So, you realize at some point you're like, okay, we need to do something. So what was sort of the first step? What were
Yes,
some other ways that you tried to solve this before you came to us?
absolutely. So call me a helicopter mom, whatever. I get it. I love my son. I want to promote him. So um I work in business. So I'm like, I need to start researching. And I had started building a spreadsheet of colleges, getting emails together, and thought, hey, we're just gonna start emailing coaches, send an information, send some stats over, send all this good stuff. Um, we got to start somewhere, right? We can't wait to next summer. And lo and behold, I swear, as I'm building this spreadsheet, I think my phone can hear me. I think we all think that sometimes. And I'm kind of flipping through TikTok. There's this guy, Jack, that shows up, right? And he's got some really interesting points. And I think the two things that I saw a number of your TikToks ahead of time, and I was like, I'm taking notes. And then there was one in particular, like, don't send stats. And I'm like, what's he talking about? Like, my son has amazing stats. Like, he just doesn't know my son. Like, this is how the coaches are going to know. And you explain later why that's important. But I thought, oh, I might be going around about this the whole wrong way. Obviously, I'm not in that market necessarily. So I don't know necessarily what the coach, I'm thinking, yeah, he needs to know how well he's hitting. Here's a stat from 5A baseball, right? Um, and even from that regard too, it was hey, he needs to see a video that's 10 deep into a pitch count, right? Because he's a great hitter. No, do 10-second 50, what it went against everything in my brain that was like, they need to see his stats, they need to see these 5-minute videos. And you just lo and behold had an option one day, it said consultation. I went, hey, what can it hurt? Because at this point I didn't have time. We were behind the eight ball. He's going
Yeah.
in his senior year. And I was like, and with hitting that button, I think we ended up talking within 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, correct me if I'm
Yes.
wrong, but I believe on that call I told you not to buy. I think I told
Yes.
you, hey,
Yes.
Christine, I think you've done a lot of work. Like
Yeah.
just where you guys are at in the process, I think you're okay.
At
I wouldn't
100.
recommend it for you. What
Yes.
happened there? So how
Yeah,
did that look
no,
from your perspective?
no, it was, you were surprised how much work I'd already done because I built a spreadsheet. You gave me some great advice. You said, obviously cast a much wider net. I think I had 50 schools on there at that time, maybe. You talked to, again, you were very forthcoming in providing information about emails without any sort of compensation whatsoever. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would have never thought of this. Now I understand that they don't care if you hit 600-700 in high school, if you're hitting against 60-mile-per-hour pitches, right? And I was like, oh, duh, like a light bulb moment. But you're a little biased with your own children, right? So, so after I had told you we had all this information, you're like, hey, I think you've got enough. You could just, do it on your own. And I said, this whole YouTube thing or putting all these videos, I'm like, I need help, and you've got instructions. I said, I absolutely want to do this. I want to follow up, because if they start responding, I need to know what to say. And it's the best money I have ever spent, truly. I don't say that lightly. I mean, when it comes to your children, you do a lot, and it was worth it. Very worth it.
Oh, I'm so glad. That makes me feel awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that I was wrong. I'm glad I was
right.
wrong.
You were
I'm
wrong.
glad
You were
in
wrong.
your wisdom, you said,
Yes.
no, Jack. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So what did that lead to? Right. So why are we so happy? What were the results that you saw? How'd this turn out?
Yeah. So just to kind of give a frame of reference. So again, we had nothing going. We weren't even talking barely to a coach or anything like that. We had been on Showcase Select Team for a number of years, and it was the major backup plan that maybe if we had nothing, they might be able to make a call to maybe a local JUCO. But listening to how you crafted the emails, it took me probably another 2 or 3 weeks, literally after we got off the call. I continued working on a spreadsheet, added so I live in Texas. I don't know if y'all can tell from my accent, but I live in Texas, and then all the surrounding states. Added all those, and we focused on JUCOs, D1, D2, some D2, D3 type schools. He wants playing time. We're being smart. He's not a PO, right? Throwing 95 where D1 might pick him up. He's playing time, needs reps. So focused on all that, got that information, spent time on the YouTube. I'm one of those moms. I've recorded almost every single at bat, I think, since he was 6. And I had a lot of abilities how to cut and edit those into bite size, format it. So it just took time. I call it a labor of love, right? It's a labor of love. So about October 14th, 15th, I sent out over probably 300 emails. I'm casting that wide net. It was a lot, but again, and then, waited, because, you have kind of a cadence of sending them out. And then we started getting a couple of responses, and some of them too were, hey, come to the showcase, which is those things. Again, there's a fee amount. There's going to be 100 guys there. We know he doesn't really stand out. And so unless it was a school, and we just decided, if it was some school he absolutely loved, sure, but none of them were, right? It's like, again, it was a wide net. But then we got a couple, hey, give us a call. I want to talk to Wade. And I think we then asked, like, hey, can you have a follow-up consultation appointment? Because I want to make sure we don't screw this up, right? We've got these opportunities. And you shared a lot of good information. And again, we weren't trying to leverage schools, but it was, how do we get the visit? How do we get to be seen? And be very transparent with the coaches, right? So that was like October, I want to say 20th is when we had our next, maybe 2 weeks after I sent the emails. I said, hey, Jack, can we meet again? We did. Then sent another round, and because we're starting to talk to 2 schools. Mm-hmm. The advice that you gave was like, now put that in there, right? You're not trying to, I call it leverage. It's not, we weren't trying to get leverage, but we're trying to show, hey, there's some interest. Yeah. So I only did about 100, because I'm like, I don't need to do 300 anymore, right? We're talking to 2, we're feeling good. So let's tighten that net. Hey, we're talking to 2 schools. Then got another kind of interest. Then I think it was December 14th-ish. I sent about 50 emails only to some very specific schools that I think he would have said, hey, I think I'd want to go there. And in that email, it was like, hey, I now have 2 offers. and I'm still kind of looking middle infield. So when I look back, going from nothing, like we didn't even have a nibble out there, October 15th to January 15th, 3 months, just 3 months. Now, again, there's a lot of emails and a lot of hours, but really only 3 sets of emails, truly.
Yeah.
He had 3 offers. We did 3 school visits, and had 3 offers. And it was a perfect, a D1 JUCO, a D2 JUCO, and then a very good 4-year NAI school. All had pros and cons. He committed a little bit, 2 weeks into February, he committed to school. So, I mean, I honestly do not believe it would have happened. I think my emails would have been too wordy, too much, hey, there's no stats. I listened completely. And I'll tell you what, you're 100% right. Because on our school visits, they're like, yeah, I don't care what your kid's doing in high school. Right.
Yeah.
I need to, I was like, thank God I found Jack.
Oh, that's amazing. 3 offers in 3 months as a senior, right? Like last year. Yeah, back a little against the wall. Amazing.
Yeah, and Wade pushed because he said, I want to go into my season. He committed before it really started, his varsity senior started. And that was big too, right? It was, I just want to have this wrapped up, enjoy my senior year. I think a lot of us have fond memories of senior year, and he's doing it his way. And I'm looking forward to college ball too, seeing him continue to grow in this journey.
That's going to be amazing. Oh,
yes.
What a cool thing.
Yes.
So I'll still ask you, I know I told you not to buy and then you did buy, but I'll still ask you, were you hesitant at all to buy? Were you hesitant to book the call? Do you talk to me about that?
Not at all. Like I said, maybe if he was a sophomore in high school and I was already thinking about this, I may not have put the consultation button. I don't know. Maybe there was a sense of urgency a little bit there too. I wasn't hesitant for the consultation at all. I'm in sales. I will say, pleasantly surprised that I was like, okay, I'll do this consultation and then it'll wrap up with some exorbitant amount of money to do this, right? And not even close. And I was like, what? And so that when you were trying to convince me not, like, you don't need to do this, I'm like, yes, I am. We're doing it right now. So, and there really wasn't hesitation. The logic in my mind is, partly because too, these showcases, some of those are $150, $200 more a pop just for those type of showcases. And you look at, we're not in the most expensive select team. We're not traveling to Arizona and Florida, but we're traveling local. We've spent money, right? And so this to me is the last piece to do it right. This was putting money in front. Obviously he's gotten some scholarships to play. It covered itself tenfold.
Yeah.
So I wasn't hesitant. And again, I think people are more, when it comes to your own children, you're willing to do a lot more. If it was probably for myself, I probably would have gone, but not hesitant at all. And again, I had seen enough of your TikToks, very logical, and it made sense. And again, you're an expert. I think what really appealed to me when I heard your own story, I was like, there's something to this. Like it's credible already because it worked. So
yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
And
thank you for sharing your experience. Like, it's obviously, I love talking to you. And I'm so happy for Wade.
Well, we get to do it again in 2 years, right?
This sounds good. We'll roll it through. We'll get him off to another 4-year school and it'll be awesome. But
absolutely.
Just thank you so much for being open and vulnerable and sharing all of that. Hopefully,
absolutely.
For families. So thank you so much, Christine.
All right. Thank you, Jack. We appreciate you so much. Take care.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.